Army Air Forces has announced that a flying jet...
When Gary McKinnon hacked into the U.S. military and NASA servers, he uncovered many government secrets, including the existence of a United States space fleet. Codenamed Solar Warden, the fleet has already been in operation since 1980. It is a shocking revelation, as the current public perception of available technology on this world would not warrant the construction of a space fleet until far in the future. This shows the level of depth that the government had put into obscuring this space fleet from the rest of the world.
This information has been given to us by the Federation of Planets known as Ra. Your peoples have, at this time, space present, the technological achievement, if you would call it that, of being able to create and fly the shape and type of craft known to you as unidentified flying objects. Unfortunately for the social memory complex vibratory rate of your peoples, these devices are not intended for the service of mankind, but for potential destructive use. This further muddles the vibratory nexus of your social memory complex, causing a situation where neither those oriented towards serving others nor those oriented towards serving self can gain the energy power, which opens the gates to intelligent infinity for the social memory complex. These of which we spoke are of third density and are part of the so-called military complex of several of your people's societal divisions or structures. The bases are varied. There are bases, as you would call them, undersea. In your southern waters near the Bahamas, as well as in your Pacific seas and various places close to your Chilean borders on the water. There are bases upon your moon, as you call this satellite, which are at this time being reworked. There are bases which move about your lands. There are bases, if you would call them that, in your skies. These are the bases of your peoples, very numerous and, as we have said, potentially destructive. These people are those in your and other selves governments responsible for what you would term national security. United States has these craft and undersea bases. United States learned the technology to build these craft. There was a mind-body-spirit complex known to your people by the vibratory sound complex, Nicola. This entity departed the illusion, and the papers containing the necessary understandings were taken by mind-body-spirit complexes serving your security of national divisional complex. Thus your people became privy to the basic technology. In the case of those mind-body-spirit complexes which ye call Russians, the technology was given from one of the Confederation in an attempt, approximately 27 of your years ago, to share information and bring about peace among your peoples. The entities giving this information were in error, but we did many things at the end of this cycle in attempts to aid your harvest, from which we learned the folly of certain types of aid. That is a contributing factor to our more cautious approach at this date, even as the need is power upon power greater, and your people's call is greater and greater. The craft are perhaps misnamed in some instances. It would be more appropriate to consider them as weaponry. The energy used is that of the field of electromagnetic energy, which polarizes the Earth's sphere. The weaponry is of two basic kinds, that which is called by your people's psychotronic, and that which is called by your people's particle beam. The amount of destruction which is contained in this technology is considerable, and the weapons have been used in many cases to alter weather patterns, and to enhance the vibratory change, which engulfs your planet at this time. The governments of each of your societal division illusions desire to refrain from publicity so that the surprise may be retained in case of hostile action from what your peoples call enemies. The United States has 573 at this time these craft. They are in the process of adding to this number. The maximum speed of these craft is equal to the Earth energy squared 1 million watts. This field varies. The limit is approximately 1/2 the light speed, as you would call it. This is due to imperfections in design. Question: would this type of craft come close to solving many of the energy problems as far as transport goes? I am raw. The technology your peoples possess at this time is capable of resolving each and every limitation which plagues your social memory complex at this present nexus of experience. However, the concerns of some of your beings with distortions towards what you would call powerful energy cause these solutions to be withheld until the solutions are so needed that those with the distortion can then become further distorted in the direction of power. Question: why did the Orion group land here? What is their purpose? Their purpose is conquest. Unlike those of the Confederation, who wait for the calling, the so-called Orion group calls itself to conquest. There are two types of landings. In the first, entities among your peoples are taken on their craft and programmed for future use. There are 2 or 3 levels of programming. First, the level that will be discovered by those who do research. Second, a triggering program. Third, a second and most deep triggering program crystallizing the entity, thereby rendering it lifeless and useful as a kind of beacon. This is a form of landing. The second form is that of landing beneath the Earth's crust, which is entered from water. Again, in the general area of your South American and Caribbean areas, and close to the so-called Northern Pole. The bases of these people are underground. Question: how many people of United States designation are aware of these craft, including those who operate them? The number of your peoples varies, for there are needs to communicate at this particular time-space nexus so that the number is expanding at this time. The approximate number is 1,500. It is only approximate, for as your illusory time-space continuum moves from present to present at this nexus, many are learning. Question: where are these craft constructed? These craft are constructed one by one in 2 locations, in the desert or arid regions of your so-called New Mexico, and in the desert or arid regions of your so-called Mexico, both installations being under the ground. Question: it just does not seem possible that this secret could have been kept for 27 years, and that we are operating these craft. It is unbelievable that we would operate a plant in Mexico, outside of the United States, to build these craft. These craft are physical craft built by physical people? Could I go get in one and ride in one? Is that correct? This isn't correct. You could not ride one. The United States, as you call your society divisional complex, creates these as a type of weapon? Question. There are no occupants then? No pilot, shall I say? This is correct. Question. How are they controlled? They are controlled by computer from a remote source of data. Question. Why do we have a plant in Mexico? The necessity is both for dryness of the ground and for a near total lack of population. Therefore, your so-called government and the so-called government of your neighboring geographical vicinity arranged for an underground installation. The government officials who agreed did not know the use to which their land would be put, but thought it a governmental research installation for use in what you would call bacteriological warfare. Question. Is this the type of craft that Dan Fry was transported in? The one known as Daniel was, in thought form, transported by Confederation thought form vehicular illusion in order to give this mind-body-spirit complex data so that we might see how this type of contact aided your people in the uncovering of the intelligent infinity behind the illusion of limits. Question. What is the diameter of the craft, which the United States has? The approximate diameter, given several model changes, is 23 of your feet, as you measure. I am Ra. I leave you in the love and the light of the one infinite Creator. Go forth rejoicing in the power and the peace of the one Creator.